Hi there, Andrew Ambrosius for another episode of The Art of Business English, your free weekly dose of business English skills. And this is The Art of Business, where we help you get the language skills you need to improve and operate in any business environment where English is spoken. So yes, my goal is to help you succeed, become more confident in your English speaking abilities. Now, this week on The Art of Business English, I am going to help you with expressions that are going to make you basically a better listener. So what I'm trying to say is that you often may not know how to acknowledge what people have said to you. So it's a really simple lesson here today. When we want to be a better listener, we should have some expressions in our repertoire of vocabulary to acknowledge what people are saying to us. Okay, that shows that we're actively listening. It shows that we're engaged and we're listening to what that person is saying. So really important, especially if you're dealing with colleagues or customers, and you want to make them feel like you're with them, you're listening to them. Most people really feel valued when they're listened to. So it's a really important skill, especially if you're leading people or you're dealing with customers or potential clients, anyone. Even you can apply these skills to your husband or your wife, your kids. So some really simple expressions to acknowledge what people are saying to you. Okay, so let's dive in and take a look at that. So I guess the first piece of advice for listening, before we jump into the expressions, is that you should, that's my advice, so it's not necessarily an obligation, but you should try and listen as opposed to jumping in with your advice. We can call that the advice monster. Often people, especially people who are in positions of leadership positions or managerial positions, they often have got there because they're good at helping people solve problems, which is great. But sometimes people don't need your advice. They just want you to listen to them, and then maybe later they can bounce some of their ideas off you. But if you jump in and give people advice straight away, then often that you're not giving them the opportunity to express themselves fully, which, even though you think you're helping, may not actually help that much. So my first piece of advice is to not jump in with your advice monster, meaning just try and listen to people and use some of the following expressions to acknowledge what someone has said to you. Okay, so let's look at the first one. So the first one is great question. Very simple. Great question. Okay, so if someone launches or proposes a question, you acknowledge that question by saying, great question. You can also, if you need some time to answer, say, well, it's a difficult question. Let me think about that for a second, which is very good for learners of a language, because sometimes we need time to formulate our response. Following on from that, you can also say, great answer or interesting answer. That way, you're acknowledging that the response that the person has given you is good. Okay, so that just shows the person that you're listening. And people like to be praised, so it's always nice to praise people. Just a little, acknowledgement like that. So the next one is fantastic. So you're using this intonation to rise, and that acknowledges that you like the idea. Or you could say, I like it. I like it. Okay, again, we're rising intonation to show our approval. So fantastic, or I like it. Another one, good one. Good one. Okay, so again, this rising intonation, good one. So good one means, buen día, if you are saying it in Spanish. Or I like it, very simple, me gusta. Okay, so here, these are not very difficult expressions to master, but they are showing and you're acknowledging the other person and their ideas. This, as opposed to saying, okay, yes. All right, so this really helps the other person feel that you are listening to them, which is important. You can also say nice or nice one. Or you could say, yes, it's great, or yes, it's good. Okay? So little things like this, super simple to put into practice. Another one is, and here we often do this in native English, you just remove the subject because it's coming from you. You can say, love it, love it. Instead of I love it, you just say, love it, meaning you really like the idea. This one's really good as well. I totally get what you're saying. Okay, so if you say, I totally get what you're saying, then it expresses or transmits to the person that you fully or you completely understand them, which is nice because people want to be understood. You know, most people like to be understood or like to feel that they have been understood. So really easy one there as well. What about this one? So true, so true. Okay, so this is that you're showing sympathy or that you are identifying exactly like you can, this expression or then the way it's said transmits to the other person that you really understand the situation and you believe it to be true. So again, the way we say it is so true, so true. Okay, so if you say so true, the person will understand or appreciate that you have probably experienced that situation yourself, okay, and you believe it to be true. Another one. Oh, I had no idea. Oh, I had no idea. So again, you are sympathizing with someone when you say, oh, I had no idea. I had no idea. So before I finish, I would also like to just provide some other advice about acknowledging people or listening to people. And you should start to try doing this at work. When you listen to people talking, look at or listen for how they often bring it back to themselves, which is something we should try and become aware of and avoid. For example, you say, oh yeah, so someone says, oh, this was my experience with this. And they're trying to share an experience with you. Maybe they don't need your opinion or your advice, but instantly the person says, oh yeah, I remember when I, so you can hear it in their voice. It's always I, and they bring it back to themselves because we think that by sharing a similar experience with someone, then we are somehow sympathizing with them or showing that we've experienced the same thing. So we must know how they feel or what they're going through. Often this is not a great technique to use because it just brings the situation or the conversation back to you. So try and avoid always bringing the conversation back to you and your experience. It's often better to, instead of saying, oh, well, yeah, that happened to me too, just ask the person, oh, so really, and how did that make you feel? Or, oh, really, what happened as a result of that? So instead of bringing the conversation back to you, you go further by asking some legitimate questions about maybe how that person reacted in the situation, what was the result of that situation, or how that situation made them feel. Okay, so a little mini lesson there for you today to show you how you can acknowledge people without really bringing the conversation back to yourself. Okay, so if you have any questions, by all means, drop them in the comment section over at the Art of Business English website. And if you would like to ask me a question or send me an audio, then you can do over at speakpipe.com. So that's speak, S-P-E-A-K, pipe, P-I-P-E.com, speakpipe.com / the Art of Business English. Drop me a message. It'll be on my bio and on every single blog post from now on. So if you do have any questions related to any of the material that's up on the Art of Business English website, or you have a question about something that you're confused or not sure or unsure about, then please feel free to drop me a message and I'll do my best to answer it for you. So that's it from me, people. I hope you've had a great week, and I hope you're looking forward to another great weekend with your friends and family. And stay with me for more episodes of the Art of Business English next week. Take care. Bye for now.